But man, all right, let's see if we can get into this, because this thing, I didn't watch this or anything. Yeah, I want Rogan crashes out debating guest. I want to see what this is, man. I gotta see, and then on top of that, I don't get ads because I have that level of premium, because I bought the cheapest one. So like, there are no ads. It's all uninterrupted, you know. But I just want to cover all of it now. You know what I mean? I just want to get into the news, politics, music. And like I said, over here I got a list of songs. I got to do 1.5 Chinchilla. Claire asked us to do the Mitch Ben song, and then we got a Canadian request for a Canadian musician from Buy Me a Coffee. Someone else requested a Ren and Chinchilla song, a busking video, and then someone else dropped I think it was like $5. Let's not talk about prices. Someone did a donation for cold water, and I felt so bad because they were like, "Oh, if it's okay, can I still request Chinchilla?" It's like, hey, I don't hate Chinchilla. Of course, request it. Yes, dude. Dude, if Ren went on Rogan, think about how good that conversation would be. Because no matter how much you hate Rogan, like I do these days, the man is actually gifted at having conversations typically. And just because I disagree with the political slant that he's leaning on, doesn't mean I can't speak to the strengths that the man has. Like, you should always be able to talk and praise people for the things they do right, and then be willing to criticize the things they do wrong. And hopefully the criticism isn't seen as hateful or, you know, like you trying to be a dick. As long as your criticism is coming from a place where it's like, hey man, I just think you got a few things wrong here from my own personal perspective. But like, hey, you know? All right, let me turn Autumn Rainy Day off. Whoa, 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 there it goes. Oh, nope, still gotta upload those videos. I'm gonna wait a little bit on Kate Nash, just so that because my girlfriend said she wanted to see it a little bit because of some of the stuff I said. I feel like he's making the turn back to being the left, well, not the liberal he was. I think he just bought into it, you know what I mean? Like, he got caught up in the hype, you know? I want to believe that as well, because I really liked Rogan. I really did. I've been watching him since, like, episode 382 on YouTube. Like, back when he had, like, 200 viewers, man. And then back when he used to, like, bring on people like The Amazing Atheist, you know what I mean? Like Kyle Kalinske and all these like more internet celebrities, before he just started doing big name people. I was like, kind of didn't like that as much, but like, oh my god, dude, those early ages, like especially when like The Whitest Kids You Know went on there, and it was a very interesting time, you know? But all right, let's get into it. Rogan crashes out debating a guest. Let's see if I have to argue with fucking Destiny here, bro.
Ask you a question, Mr. Joe Rogan, Mr. Scientist. Are you saying that we shouldn't
Don't do that. Don't call me Mr. Scientist. I'll start mocking you, and it's so much easier to mock you.
Have
you ever looked at
tetanus, polio, paralytic diseases?
Have you ever polio? Please stop.
Yes. No, I won't. I won't. I know you think it's just. I've heard Susan Humphreys.
This is a long conversation that we're not going to have on this podcast. Right. Let's just.
But you're not a scientist.
I don't have to be a scientist to know that.
Yes, you do.
Brian is wrong there. You don't have to be a scientist, but you do have to be willing to read. You have to be willing to read.
It's not just
going to do this with you,
but
Brian.
it's not just about.
I brought up vaccines.
It's not just about. Hold on, Joe.
No, Brian, I don't want to do this with you.
But it's not just about.
We're in the middle of a fight companion. It's annoying.
All right, but it's like. Yeah.
God damn, really? Oh my god, Brian! Oh, yes! How does Destiny not know who the Brian is? What the fuck? He's been on Joe Rogan like 20 times. Joe really couldn't handle a little pushback for his ridiculous narratives. Yes. Oh, okay, look. These are the moments. There are two moments that I've been waiting for a long time, okay? I have been talking shit of the Hassan method for a long time. I've thought Hassan was a big problem for about 4 years. Now that more and more people are waking up to like the terrible advocacy that Hassan is pushing, like where he's just purely radical, is coming out, and more people are waking up to it. You're seeing more and more like content nukes coming out from Hassan, and it's nice. Now I don't think it's affecting him in any way, but if the conversation around him is gonna come out that way, it's beautiful, and I'm here for it. Another thing that I'm waiting for is for Joe Rogan to get knocked off his high horse a little bit. He should be confronted for some of the things he says on his channel, and he shouldn't have some like bullshit fucking, we can't do this. You know, what are you talking about, bro? This is the largest platform in the world and we can't be critical. Why aren't you like just bashing that one guy because he didn't want to come on your podcast to debate that other anti-vax person? Because the guy's like, hey, I'm not a debater, dude. I'm just a fucking scientist. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So watching, and like the hypocrisy here, there's just a clip. I could totally be wrong. Maybe Brian is totally wrong about everything they're saying. Oh, I need this, dude.
How come 1 in every 12 kids who's a boy in California has autism now? Because that's what's going on. That's what's going on in California, which has one of the...
Oh, God. Is he saying that the kids have autism because of vaccines? Or could it just possibly be because, like, we have more information now about what autism is and we just know more about it. We can find out that, like, some actions and, like, because autism is a spectrum, obviously. It moves in different areas, and some people have autistic tendencies in different areas. Like, is it possible that we just learned more about what autism is, and then we realized it could encompass a larger net? That doesn't mean that there's a problem happening. It just means that we know more about it so we can assign it more effectively. Back in the day, people that were autistic, we would just call them ADHD. Well, you know what I mean? Like, could that possibly, like Occam's razor, right? Hello? Isn't that the most logical fucking possible thing on the planet? The reason why it didn't work for Jordan Peterson to say that is because it was, like, the vaccine was given to billions of people. And only one country is showing, like, excess deaths while that other country is adjacent to a fucking war? Of course, dude. Like, that would be Occam's razor. Here, the most easy solution to what he's posing here is the fact that... But I'm sorry. You can help me. Oh, hey, I didn't respond to your comment yet because it was really long, and I wanted to give it a really heartfelt response. If anyone leaves a long comment, I like to try to return the favor. I read it. I fucking loved everything you said in that video about compassion fatigue and the musical between Destiny and Jordan Peterson. Loved it. Fucking, I wish I had your knowledge on that topic so I could have said all of that in the video. Yes, he was trying to sidestep the whole question. Yes, he was. Yeah, but see, he's the one that made the claim, too, which makes it even more we should just watch that debate. We should just watch that debate one of these days. Because I think it's one of the best. That was the debate where I realized that, like, my initial hero, Jordan Peterson, had completely lost the plot. Like, I'd been like, I don't know why he's talking about that. And then I skipped all of his Bible talk bullshit because, like, all he does is hang on metaphors. Like, he did a show with Alex O'Connor, and Alex O'Connor was like, how come, like, he was asking him a basic question. Do you think that, like, the way that Jesus did this in the Bible actually happened in real time? And he wouldn't answer a single question. And he goes in, well, what do you mean by real? And you're like, what? Why don't you just, you know what I'm implying, you fucking... Why are you obfuscating so much so that you don't have to make a stance? Like, that debate he did on Jubilee was so bad. It was even bad for Christians, okay? There was no reason why Jordan Peterson should have been there. Because he didn't defend any point. He just said, well, what do you mean believe? It's like, okay, dude, really? Are we just gonna get so semantic here that we can't even have a conversation? Is your job to get so into the weeds that there's no nuance that we can have? That we can't even converse because eventually you're gonna start dissecting what does the mean? Fuck you, bro. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you being so disingenuous? You were choosing to be bad faith. When people start doing that shit, you just need to start calling them names. That's all it is. Ad hom the fuck out of them because they're not having a conversation. They're ad homing you without the insults. It's bullshit. Sorry. Tangent. Tangent.
The strictest vaccine policies. 1 in 12. Did I say vaccines cause autism? Maybe I will have...
Well, RFK's getting to that.
Okay. Yeah.
And now Florida doesn't demand vaccines for kids.
That's dangerous.
Okay, why would Joe Rogan get mad at these guys for like giving him pushback when he's the one that brought up the fucking conversation? Excuse me. Hold on. And why is he talking about a topic he has no fucking clue about? Oh my God, Brian, I need you to fucking rip him apart.
I knew you'd jump on that.
Well, okay. Everybody told me the Brian Callen dude was not good news. Okay? And then I did a show with him. He seemed reasonable. He seemed reasonable when I did a show with him. And people were like, yeah, he does that for whatever. And then I see him on Joe Rogan sometimes. And I'm like, he kind of seems reasonable. He seems pretty reasonable. Is he about to be reasonable here? Or is he about to undo every nice thing I've said about him?
Of course, it's dangerous, Brian. What are you talking about?
Tetanus.
Tetanus.
No. Just go down the road wrong.
You need to bail on the tetanus thing because Suzanne Humphries.
Educate his ass.
Also, I was correct when I said this 5 years ago. Find the goddamn motherfucking VOD. I said two things. I know, and I said this over and over again. I said, one, there will be no amount of time where you guys will feel safe with the mRNA vaccines. I said that because they're like, oh, we just need more time. Bullshit. No, you won't. No, you never change your mind on this. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You won't change your mind. I was right on that. It's only been 5 years, but they haven't changed their mind at all. And no evidence, no data, nothing came out to show that those vaccines were unsafe. Nothing came out to show that they were more dangerous than any other vaccine. All the data that came out, overwhelmingly positive, okay? Outperformed every other vaccine on the market, both in our country and internationally, okay? Kicked the Russian vax ass, kicked the Chinese vax ass, okay? So, one, okay, I was right on that. And two, I said, this will not just be an attack against mRNA vaccines. You'll use this to undermine every single vaccine. And I knew it was obvious at the time.
Fuck, dude. It is a little bit of a bummer that they do use that to, like, if you had a problem with a vaccine that was made in 9 months, logically that can make sense. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I want more time. However, they did use that argument. I knew a lot of people that said that. And here we are 5 years later, and they are still saying the same thing. It's like, you understand that they're still testing the vaccine today. And, like, the vaccine was way safer than getting COVID itself. Dude, it was like I remember I said it in debate with a buddy in Discord, and my girlfriend looked it up, the stats, after I ran my mouth. But it was like 17, I said like 1,700 times more likely, and I think it was like only 107. I can't remember the exact amount. But yeah, myocarditis, which is what Joe Rogan was trying to say that the vaccine would cause, is more likely from COVID by itself. 100%. It's more likely. You were going to get a worse case of myocarditis from the vaccine, from the actual COVID itself, than the vaccine. And then I tell this, we were debating, Operation Warp Speed was something actually, yes it was, and I actually say that a lot. If you do not like Trump, you should be able to say something positive about the man. Because if you only hate a man, then you have a bias here that you should not be able, like, if you can't say the positives, like Trump did a lot of things that were okay. He overlooked a reform in a prison reform in, I think, predominant black areas that actually reduced prison sentences for those of, how do I say this without sounding offensive? African Americans. I don't know if that's the word we use anymore. I can't keep up anymore. Every month or every couple of years, it's a change. But then he also did the farm bill that actually essentially legalized marijuana, which is really cool, almost on a federal level. Like, that's what you can buy Delta 9 and Delta 8 because of that. And you can even buy some forms of psilocybin, or not necessarily. What's up, dude? This is awesome. Hoped you'd start streaming since your first Ren reaction. Timing is perfect since Asmon will be gone for a while. Asmon is gone? He actually took a break? Holy shit. I will say some nice things about Asmon, but some of the things he says, like, his pure joy of watching, people's lives be ruined was a little fucking unhinged. But, Asmon as a gamer is a homie. And, some of his common sense takes are pretty good. And he's way smarter than people like fucking Hassan. What was I saying? I fucking don't remember. Fuck. My brain doesn't work, man.
You know how you knew it at the time? Okay, it's not because I'm a genius. You just listen to their language, because they would always say, oh, I don't trust the COVID vax. What do you mean you don't trust? What is the COVID vax? I thought you just didn't trust the mRNA vaxes. There were
he's dealing with his dad's cancer. Oh, is that why he, because I did see like 3 weeks ago, he said he was thinking about stepping away, but things were getting really hard. I know Tectone also stepped away too. I don't know, I disagree with Tectone on some things, but, any ally against Hassan right now is kind of a homie. Okay.
non-mRNA vaxxers. Do you trust those? Oh, it was just bullshit the whole time. And yeah, now we're seeing it here, right? It's every single vaccine is going to be under attack. Yeah.
Suzanne Humphries explained
She's not a vaccinologist. I know that woman. What are you talking about? So you're
Yes, Brian. Fuck yes. Ah, it's just like that video yesterday about that guy, that nurse dude that we were watching. I don't know if he has the qualifications to speak about the things that he did. And then I couldn't even find the Wikipedia page about the man that he's referencing in an article. Like, if this guy's published papers and stuff, why can't I find any of them? And why did we not watch the whole video? Like, why are you just showing me excerpts? It's almost like you're selectively picking things that kind of prove a point instead of going over the whole thing. Because obviously you can say, well, watch the whole video here, which is translation. It's like, okay, but why didn't you watch the whole video? You know what I mean?
You're saying we
she's a medical doctor that absolutely understands tetanus. She said tetanus, all you have to do is keep the wound open and clean it.
Oh, that's
you
such
don't.
bullshit.
It's not
Oh my
bullshit.
God,
It's
what
not bullshit. Do you know how many people die of tetanus
Holy
every year?
fucking shit.
What about
How many people get?
How many people die of tetanus? Well, the tetanus vaccine has been passed out for like 70, 80 years. Get the fuck... it may not be that long. No, wait, yeah, never mind. I'm old as fuck now.
Vaccinated for tetanus every year. Tetanus is, to be fair, tetanus is not really that dangerous of a disease. I think even if you're not... like the overall amount of people that would die would be fairly low, but it's just a freebie. It's like a free shot, right? Like why not? Like there's minimal to no. I don't know if there's any downside at all. It's just like, why not? It's just so like. And then when you start peeling away every single, like not that many people die of measles either, right? But like if not that many people die of this, not that many people die of that, not that many people die of that. One, a lot of it is because a lot of people are vaccinated. But two, if you start taking away all these things, like it's just unnecessary. Why? Why would you have people dying of preventable diseases? Why?
Okay, so let me ask you a question, Mr. Joe Rogan, Mr. Scientist.
Wait, why is he telling him to stop when he's the one who brought it up? What the fuck is this? Why is Joe Rogan such a soy boy these days? This man can kick harder than a fucking horse. What the fuck is with this pussy shit? Why is he so scared of his own audience, man?
So you saying that we shouldn't
do that. Don't call me Mr. Scientist. I'll start mocking you, and it's so much easier to mock you.
So are we?
Why? Because it's your show?
Are we not? So you don't believe in vaccines? You don't think we should have vaccines?
And wait, hold on. Why is he saying that to one of his friends? It's so much easier to mock you. Bitch, bring it on. Oh, bro, fuck that. And it's not easy to mock you. How many hit pieces have been done on Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan has been dropped out of the top spot. Many fucking. He's losing millions of fans. Like, so many people have moved away from Joe Rogan for his unhinged takes over the last fucking 8 months. Like, and he literally helped elect a man that is literally deporting people without due process. It's easier to mock Brian? Really? Joe Rogan, you were like the laughingstock of the entire comedy world right now. Like, going on your show may not even be a boost anymore. It might be a detriment to your career. You're a fucking hack. Your last stand-up special was so bad, I didn't laugh once. And I laughed at every one of them before that. What had happened to you, bro? You found God and now your brain quit working? I'm fucking confused, dude. How is Brian easier to mock than Joe Rogan, the laughingstock of the world? Nah, get the fuck out of here, dude. The zeitgeist around Joe Rogan has significantly changed. During COVID, he was the king of the world because everyone was locked in their homes, they had nowhere to get anything, and the left-wing media was giving you really shitty news around the Kavanaugh kid, Kyle Rittenhouse, and they overstepped and they did some stupid shit. And they had to correct since then if they want to retain viewerships. But why the fuck is anyone going to sit here and say that Joe Rogan is like a credible individual? The man is just good at having conversations. But the man is soying out right now because he made a little... Hold on. Joe Rogan says you should make fun of everybody. And it should all be on the table. That's just been his whole point. The reason why it was okay to make fun of trans people is because no one should be off limits. Is Joe Rogan off limits? What a fucking pussy.
It's not that I don't believe in vaccines. It's I don't think you should give a kid...
I don't think you should give a kid so many...
You shouldn't give a kid a vaccine. Okay, when it's the best time to inoculate someone against a fucking potential disease. What a fucking idiot, dude.
I'll suck him off the next time I see him. If Brian asks the two questions, anytime, I don't know if Joe Rogan's about to say this. Okay, sorry, I'm just foreseeing the whole dialogue tree. People always go, it's not that I'm against vaccines. It's just, why do we give them so many? Or why do we give them so many so quickly? Oh, okay. Well, one, which ones don't you like? And two, what's the appropriate amount to give? Because it's always just like a truism.
Kid at Hep B vaccine when they're a baby.
Different subject.
I don't know. MMA vaccine is absolutely connected to a host of serious debilitating.
Did he mean MMR, or is there an MMA vaccine as well? Because if there's an MMA vaccine, it sounds like he needed one.
Debilitating problems that kids have gotten from them. There's a lot of problems because they don't test vaccines in a double-blind, placebo-controlled setting.
People keep saying this as well. I have never seen any evidence of this ever, that vaccines aren't tested, aren't trialed, don't have double blind. We can look up these studies. Where does this idea come from that there's just no testing on vaccine? Where does this come from?
They test them against other vaccines. You know that, right?
Yes, I do. Excuse me. Let me just say something. Yes, you're right. You can make the argument for Hep B. Here's why. Because the chances of a child coming in contact with the kind of activity that causes Hep B is different. So now
Sexually transmitted disease and needles.
So now you say this. That chance is zero. The chance for vaccine injury with the Hep B is not zero, is non-zero. Okay, so I understand that math. Okay, what I'm trying to say to you is that there are certain diseases. Pick up a history book. Smallpox, diphtheria, mumps.
Have you ever looked at
tetanus, polio?
Notice how when Brian wants to have like a conversation, have you ever? Okay, if you pick up like, can you just finish a sentence, please?
Paralytic diseases.
Have you ever polio? Please stop.
Yes. No, I won't. I won't. I know
Brian,
you think it's just.
Oh, polio. Well, let me tell you about the
I
semen
fucking
monkey.
love it, dude. Like I was like, please stop. He's like, I won't. I fucking love that. People need to give Joe Rogan the pushback. He used to be so critical. If you ever want to have one of the best laughs of your life, go watch Joe Rogan's conversation with Candace Owens and Dave Rubin. They're two separate videos. Watching the former critical Joe Rogan back when he used to read things, he used to talk to people, he used to talk to all walks of life, and he was a liberal back when his brain fucking worked. The pushback he gave Candace Owens was one of the greatest pushbacks I've ever seen in my life, and I wish the media would have done more of that shit right now with Trump. But like, bro, he made her look absolutely fucking foolish, and she's never gone back since, and for good reason. How she's one of the most popular people in the world right now, despite that abysmal fucking showing, is terrifying. I'm of the mind that the extremists on the right are too large in number that they can no longer be stopped. Because the fact that Candace Owens won Anti-Semite of the Year and is still one of the most watched podcast people wounds my soul. Like, America is cooked, guys. There's no going back. It's about to get really, really bad there. Like, before I left, I was sitting in a truck stop on my way to Canada, eating a cheeseburger because I was relaxing after like a 10-hour drive. She is so foolish, dude. So foolish. She's the laughing stock of the world, and yet people love her. She defends Andrew Tate. Like, she went on Jubilee to say that women shouldn't work. Yep. And it's like, okay then, you dumb bitch, why are you here? Why are you here working right now? If you think that women should be back in the kitchen and then taking care of their kids, why aren't you with your children right now? Why are you in this room debating 20 people? Poorly, by the way. Why the fuck are you here? If you don't think that... Well, like, the crazy thing is... her Eminem rant was so dumb. Yes! Like, one of the crazy things with Candace Owens is because I used to be part of the anti-SJW movement. For those of you that don't know, I was part of Gamergate. I was pro-Gamergate. I was against Anita Sarkeesian. Now, when the death threats and stuff started, I kind of was like, all right, I'm pulling away. When MGTOW started, I was against that movement, and I was against third-wave feminism. I was against all of it. I don't like gender battles, and I don't like all that dumb shit. I like that we're human. I'm a humanist. I like humans, okay? It's not about gender. It's not about ideology. It's just about we're humans, and we should find a good way to work together. And we're different. We have things that differ from one another, and we should find ways to work on those issues. Men have particular issues, especially around aggression, homicide, suicide. We should work on that. Women have issues, primarily with like the fact that a majority of crimes that are committed against them are committed by men. The fact that they live in a world where they are talked down to by subordinates and lovers and friends because of their sex and stuff like that. That's fucking absurd. I don't really buy the wage gap argument because there's data that can like kind of balance it out a little bit. But like the fact that women are even have to go through any kind of troubles whatsoever, like it's actual bullshit. But we can't have these conversations about what ways we can lift each other up because unfortunately people just go, well, I'm a feminist, so fuck men. And then men go, I'm a minimist, fuck women. And it's like, you guys are both ridiculous and you should be kicked in the cooch. But then I was part of like, you know, the anti-SJW movement. And then I was part of the anti-woke movement. I was part of the intellectual dark web. I mean, I followed all of these trends that were really right-leaning now in retrospect, but I was always a liberal. Like I watched people like Chris Rogan, amazing atheist, while making fun of the Young Turks. I watched Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins, you know, Howard Bloom, all these guys. You know, but then when I saw the transition happen after Joe Rogan blew the fuck up during COVID, and I saw Jordan Peterson, who was like one of my best, like, you know, like I liked him a lot, man. I bought his book. I stood by a lot of it. I still stand by a lot of the things he said. So I was on this slant for a while, and then I saw how crazy they were getting, and then I was like, nope, I'm not following you off that cliff. Not happening. And unfortunately, I saw too many of my friends and family dive headfirst off that cliff with no critical thought, which is like a bummer because that's the reason why they got into those initial things. I don't happen to these people. But the reason I said all of that is to say Candace Owens, when she started, yeah, he got really weird at a point. He did, dude. I think it was after he joined the... Well, look, I don't want to say it was because of Ben Shapiro, but it could have been because of that addiction he got into, and then he had to go to, like, Russia to get those that surgery, and he almost died multiple times, and they didn't know he was going to recover. And then after that, you know, Canada went after his license and got hairy for a while. And, you know, I feel like people get stuck in a moment. I mean, I'm there a little bit. Like, I have PTSD around feminists. I'm not going to lie to you. I have been called so many terrible things under the sun because of feminism. And even though I advocate for those rights and I want to, you know, want to help women get every right they can, when I start hearing them say terrible shit like all men deserve death, it's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. Well, who are you to talk, white man? It's like, someone who votes in your favor, and there's a lot of us, and maybe you should not alienate the people that can give you the power that you want. I don't know why that's like a crazy concept. Maybe you shouldn't alienate the people that are trying to work with you to build the future that you're looking towards. Maybe we shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I have an old video called "My Response to Feminism" and MGTOW together. And I remember when I first, my girlfriend at the time, she saw it and she was like, you saw a video that I was reacting to Destiny's Pixie allegations and lawsuit, and she kind of freaked out a little bit because in that thing I said, I don't think women are capable of love, or something. I said something silly like that, but it wasn't like capable of love. Because I believe in transactional relationships, right? I said all these things, and she was like, I had to show her that video. I was like, look, dude, I've been on women's side for a very long time, okay? But I've been burned by a lot of women, and I have my PTSD moments where I've been in the trenches with feminists, and feminists like will throw me into the battlefield and set me up to be hung or something. And I'm like, what's happening, dude? We were on the same side 5 minutes ago. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, all that to say, watching Candace Owens and Blair White at the time, who I don't fuck with anymore, but I did when she was against the SJWs a little bit, on Dave Rubin, because I used to like Dave Rubin before he went, I'm right wing, you know? And then he got paid like $5 million by Tenet Media to spread Russian propaganda. Dipshit. Allegedly. Anyway, watching that debate was ridiculous. Candace Owens did a lot of shady shit. Candace Owens was also part of Gamergate, did you know? She also created a doxing website for anyone that says mean things to women on the internet. They gave out people's information such as screen names, addresses, and zip codes, which is not cool. And then, of course, out of nowhere, she makes this crazy change to the right, and it starts getting hosted on... But that's just crazy behavior. As a feminist, I don't claim those fucking people. I claim you. Hey, man, I am a second-wave feminist. I advocate for women having to get out of the house. I'm about to start learning how to cook, so my girlfriend, I feel so bad, okay? I sit here and I do my videos for like 6 hours, and then I edit, and, well, I don't edit, I just been cut. Right now, I'm just like cutting, cropping, and moving videos around, and she'll come home from work and then make dinner, and I'm like, what are you doing? Stop that. Like, I will learn to cook. You worked all day. All I did was sit on my ass and talk to the internet. Like, you were up moving around with kids and doing a bunch of crazy stuff and running around and, you know, and like doing crazy wild stuff, you know, and like you're exhausted. Why are you coming home to cook? Fuck that. I'm gonna learn how to cook. I'm gonna spoil you. That's what men should do. And the fact that there are so many men today that come home from work and expect their wife to do stuff is bullshit. Women deserve to be in the workforce if they want to be. Women deserve to be able to pursue anything they want. They should be able to vote. They should get paid equal money. All of these things. I'm for all of that. Women are your equal. They're different, but they're your equal. And I'm okay with that difference. I think that difference is a beautiful thing. Women and men complement each other in wonderful ways. It doesn't mean that that's the way it needs to be. It's just they complement each other in wonderful ways. But I mean, obviously, as someone who's bisexual, I can say the same thing about, you know, other people. But I'm just saying, feminism is crazy. But when third wave feminism came out, I was a little more like, I'm not getting, this is a little crazy. But anyway, I'm sorry. Tangent. All I know is, all I was trying to say was watching Candace Owens flail miserably with that conversation with Blair White and Dave Rubin, unable to like even back in the day, like calm and simmer down the conversation. Watching Dave Rubin fail as a moderator is the greatest thing ever, and watching Candace Owens be completely useless as a moderator. And then real men with real responsibility and respect for their partner. That's the way it should be. Why would you be in a relationship with someone you don't respect? Fuck, dude. I don't get it, dude. Like, I say coarse language, and I make jokes that might be construed as sexist, and you know, I apologize for those things. I just really love the word bitch. I say it to everybody about everybody. It's not even just, like, gendered specific. And I don't think, maybe that's not appropriate, and maybe that's something I should work on. But, like, you should respect your partner. You should respect women. But there's no reason not to. A difference in gender doesn't mean someone is lesser than. That's so crazy. Fuck.
Disease that was in some of them. That there's, by the way, no evidence, no studies have shown semen.
No, I won't. I won't.
No,
I know
Brian,
you think it's just.
Oh, polio. Well, let me tell you about the semen monkey disease that was in some of them. That there's, by the way, no.
Oh, okay, let me just show you something real quick. This is how much my girlfriend is amazing. So for breakfast, and she knows that like when I start recording, I'm not gonna get up to eat. She fucking cut an apple and put like brown sugar in it so I'd have a snack while I'm recording and stuff. Like, what is kindness? You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. I'm sorry, I was a tangent. I just saw it and it made me think about it.
Evidence, no studies have shown that anybody has an increase in cancer or anything else. Also, polio, that got eliminated because people washed their hands better. Idiot.
I've heard Susan Humphreys.
This is a long conversation that we're not going to have on this podcast because I'm going to get angry because I've researched this for years.
Oh my God.
Oh, God.
Researched this for years, and the retard still doesn't even think we went to the fucking moon. Give me a This is like the Hassan equivalent of I've researched Israel-Palestine for years, but I don't know where any of them are on a map, and I don't know what the Western Wall is. Kill me.
Right.
It's just
But you're not a scientist.
I don't have to be a scientist
do.
to know that.
Yes, you do.
No,
Brian.
Yes! Make Joe Rogan squirt. Oh my God, this is pornographic. Ooh, this is a little inappropriate to be streaming, actually, I think.
It's wrong there. You don't have to be a scientist, but you do have to be willing to read. You have to be willing to read. You cannot get all of your information from these dog shit podcasts. Maybe there are good ones out there, but not these. Not these ones.
Brian, shut the fuck up. I don't have to be a scientist to read research, to understand.
What is the last research paper you've ever read from start to finish? Any of them. There's none of them. And you know how you could tell he hasn't read a single one? Is because they always ask the same level 1 questions that's dealt with in the discussion section of every single paper. Where
I need to start using that level 1, level 2, and like level 3, like, because I say surface level stuff, and that just, I don't think it hits the same. Because surface level just, it sounds like another, like a mini insult. Like a level 1 question demands you to dive further, and that's when you get into the semantics. Like, so for example, like there are times where having a semantic argument is important. I totally agree with that. But then there are times where the semantics are meaningless. So for example, if I say, hey, I'm coming over tonight, and you're like, you know, I'd be like around 9, and I show up at like 9:30. It's not like around 9. You should have just said 9:30. It's like, oh, hold on, we don't. Or like, I ran over to see what you were doing because I thought you fell. Like, you didn't run. I saw you walking. Like, okay, but that's not really relevant to what we're doing right now. The important fact is I showed up and I came over as immediately as soon as I heard it. You knew what I was implying there. You knew what the inference was. Their semantic differences aren't really important. But like when you start getting into the difference of like an actual debate and you're talking about like, I mean, abortion or, I mean, various topics, like where the semantics matters. Like the abortion debate is a really good example. I personally believe that, you know, a woman should be able to choose what her body is. But around 20 weeks is when consciousness is developed. And that's, you know, typically good. You have to know how to interpret what you're reading. I don't know if you don't define level 1, level 2, etc. It feels a bit pointless to me. Maybe. I think it's good to point out the start of an argument, like the surface level, like, hey, this is my proposition, and then when you like start digging into it, and you start getting into like more of the semantic differences. There's a reason why the left cannibalizes this stuff so much. It's because there's semantic differences or minor differences in execution, right? Like, let's say I'm a social democrat, but I don't like, or I'm a liberal social democrat. I'm kind of like in between on those things, right? And I can get along with a socialist because we believe, by and large, a majority of the same principles. But once we get to a certain threshold, there's a difference in what we're doing. And that difference exacerbates a greater deal because we're supposed to be in agreement. I think it's called the bigotry. No, not the bigotry. No. The bigotry of the small differences. I can't remember technical terms. I need to get a fucking dictionary when I'm doing this shit.
We're like what kind of research? Well, I guess if it's on like Medivax or RDMV, there's like 2 open servers for like for like preprints or whatever. I don't remember the 2 sites are called, but like people will say things like, oh, they did this vaccine and then this thing happened. They did this treatment, this thing happened, and who knows why this happened? What do you mean, who knows? Every discussion paper for every single thing ever related to epidemiology or disease or whatever is going to have a section where they discuss where the hypothesized cause of action is or mechanism of action, or they're going to have a thing for follow-up research, or they're going to talk about other things that they studied to see why a particular thing happened. But nobody's aware of any of that. They don't even read the abstract. They read the first sentence of the thing that pops up on a website. And then they did a whole study, and then they're like, well, what about did they control for people who were already fat? And then they ask the dumbest questions that if you peered into a single methodology section, you would know how they would pick people for their cohorts.
Understand that they were spraying DDT all over the country when everybody was getting polio. Do you know that?
Yes,
you know
I do.
the first
Yes,
instances of polio, they happened in rural communities where they were all farmland and agriculture, and then cows were getting them and horses were getting them and dogs.
I don't even know the theory on this. So is this the thing? So polio came from DDT? Is that from the sprays? Is that what
Dogs were getting them?
Let me make a statement.
They were calling it paralytic polio.
Oh, remember the thing that I did? Was this yesterday or the day before? The table thing. The table thing. Remember, when you knock down legs of the table, they don't change their mind. They just jump to another conspiracy theory, right? Well, why did this happen? Oh, well, it was because of this. And then you debunk whatever talking about that. What about this? And then they hop to a whole new debunking mode. It's really crazy that your argument was 100% based on these 3 points, and then I knocked down those 3 points, and instead of your argument changing at all, you've adopted a different supporting point for the same argument. Isn't that kind of weird? Doesn't that kind of show maybe possibly holy shit maybe? I was talking about 3. There's like 3 different domains. What did I use? Oh, I used an analogy for making a sword. Did I? This was on stream, right? Does anybody remember this? I think this was on stream, right? Does nobody remember this? Why are we talking about this off stream? You have like, I feel like this was on stream, right? You have like a material. You have like the weapon you forged, and then you've got like your handling of the weapon. Have I never talked about this? You talked about it during the tier 3 stream? Maybe I did. I feel this is the way that I conceptualize like debates right now, okay? So you have like some material, okay? So maybe your material is dog, okay? Like plastic. Or maybe your material is really good, like Hitori Hanzo steel. Okay, I don't know if Japanese steel is better, and I don't think it is, but whatever. We'll do it for the analogy.
It's folded steel, bro. Come on. Like, Destiny, how are you so smart on so many things? I don't know how they make katanas, bro. You little okay. You're supposed to be a gamer nerd. That's like the one thing you should know.
And then you can forge this into some kind of like meaningful, like weapon, right? Like a really, really, really good, sharp, strong sword, or it can just be like a block of material that isn't forged at all. And then you've got like how good are you at like handling the weapon versus are you fucking retarded? I feel like when it comes to debating people, I feel like the equivalent here is you have like your facts, and then you have your arguments, and then you have your deployment or your rhetoric. And in order to like fight somebody like this, unfortunately, at the very least, you need the last two, but all three are like the best. So for instance, you can have a bunch of bullshit ass facts, right? Like DDT causes horses to be in iron lungs. And as long as you have like like a cheap ass weapon, so like a spear or a halberd, these weapons are really nice because you don't really need to know what to do with them. They're just long and you poke people with them. And so every retard could kill any sword master by just smacking them away, right? So as long as you have like, it can be facts forged into like an effective weapon, and then the handling is like easy because you just have to repeat the same talking points over and over again. The rhetoric is easy. Then you'll always defeat somebody who doesn't have the last two. So like researchers are really good at collecting, strong facts. They do research, but they're not used to like formulating them into punchy arguments, and they certainly can't deploy them on the spot. They're not good at like debating. So like the dynamic back and forth that happens in a conversation. In an ideal world, you get somebody who can do research, collect really good facts, and then spend some time writing them down to formulate good, punchy arguments, and then is capable in a live environment of dynamically moving back and forth and responding to the other person.
Holy fuck, that's actually a really smart way of looking at arguments. Because there's a reason why a lot of like PhD people that have a command of the facts don't step into the arena. And you even saw that with I don't remember his name, and I apologize, but he was someone who went on Joe Rogan's show once. And then someone said they wanted to debate him, and the guy that he wanted to debate was like a public speaker and like really good rhetorically, right? So like even if you have a really strong command of the facts, if someone rhetorically can handle a conversation very well, that's good enough for people that don't know anything about the subject matter, which is a majority of Joe Rogan's audience. A majority of Joe Rogan's audience don't read shit. Not saying it's a knock on Republicans, because I used to be a member of Joe Rogan's audience, I mean, he used to be liberal, he used to be an LA fucking comedian that would come out and, defend gay rights and smoking weed, and, he even used to defend trans rights at a time. Like, Joe Rogan used to be liberal. Like, he changed his opinions based off of making money and being surrounded by Republicans, which means that he has no backbone, and all of his beliefs were just something that he came about unnaturally. He just did it because he lived in Los Angeles. Who knows what Joe Rogan really felt? I bet you Joe Rogan doesn't know what the fuck he really thinks. If your political opinions can change on a dime just because of money or just because of like environment without any cognitive thought about what's happening, and like now he's literally sitting here making the same arguments that he used to bash Candace Owens over, insanity. Okay, so that means that person never had any of it to begin with. He just was good rhetorically. And of course Joe Rogan's good rhetorically. He's a fucking actor. That's how he got his start. The fact that anyone gives Joe Rogan any kind of flowers for his ability to have good rhetoric is a little crazy, because he's trained to do that. I feel like the level of education people who are watching debate matters a lot too. Some debate techniques like talking loud and confidently work well on people that are not educated. Yes. And I mean, that's why people like Andrew Tate were so successful. He gave people a message that they wanted to hear, and he packaged it in like a bravado, like people want this. I got my sports cars and stuff like that. But then on the flip side, his brother would come out and do the humanizing things. So like, obviously Andrew Tate's like standing in front of his car. He's like, I got bitches, I got money, they suck my dick. Like he's saying all this terrible shit, right? But then his brother would come out afterwards and be like, this is the car we used in the video. The reason we shot the video on this side is because if you come over here, this side, there's a couple scratches on it. It made it seem human. It made it seem like, oh, these guys aren't monsters. But then like you start getting into the details and you're like, these guys are fucking monsters. but they played the rhetoric game or the rhetoric game very well. And then, of course, they knew what they were doing. They'd been communicating with men, acting as women on, essentially catfishing men while using women's bodies and then taking half the money, which is total bullshit. He even lied to the women's faces. Like, the man is just a fucking monster, and he deserves to be slapped around a little bit. Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I may not be the guy for it. But, hey, Andrew Tate, you want to come to America? Or I'm not in America anymore. You want to come to Canada? Swing on by, man. We'll throw bows. You probably win. But I'm a big motherfucker too, bro. Because I know he did that to one fat fuck before. He showed up at his house. He doxed him. And then the guy, called the cops and cried like a bitch. But for good reason. Like, who knows what the fuck Andrew Tate's going to do. The man has essentially, like, hit squads and shit. Where people were like, But yes, rhetoric. I feel like rhetoric is too powerful for people that don't know the facts. And why would people know the facts? Because, like, in order to know the facts, you have to study, you have to read things, you have to get into it. And now we're in an age where just questioning the status quo is the way that it needs to be, and it's bullshit. It's not correct, man. It's not cool.
I think that in this environment, what the did I just push? Control Z. Oh, in a good environment, I think that this person with the better facts and the better forgery will win. But it's hard to have all of that together. It's just very, like, oftentimes the further away you are, the less likely it is that the rooms will connect. So the people that are out doing all the debating with all the punchy rhetoric, they might have some like cute little arguments, but the factual foundation is almost non-existent. But that's, so the debating against it is hard because you have to be aware of, like, I mean, Rob Noor is like the hyper-exaggerated version of what it's like to be prepared for that. Like, there were so many things that he brought up. And there were still one or two things that he brought up that I wasn't familiar with, but it was because, like you saw, like the day before, I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and sit down and read 250 pages of this reporting, plus another 100 pages of the Mueller report and the Senate, no, not the Mueller report, it was the Durham report and then the Senate committee one that I read off stream, just to be ready for the assortment of like random facts and conspiracy and everything else. It's just so much. And then you have to be able to navigate in real time. What does he mean when he says this word? Well, clearly, like an email that's compiled from 7 other emails is legitimate as long as the facts of all of them are correct. It's like, wait, what? Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot.
Farmland and agriculture, and then cows were getting them, and horses were getting them, and dogs were getting them.
Let me make a statement.
They were calling it paralytic polio.
Do you agree with the following statement? It's not just...
I'm not going to do this with you,
but
Brian.
it's not just about...
I brought up vaccines,
it's not just
so that'd be a fun debate.
Hold on, Joe.
No, Brian,
it's not
I don't want to do this with
but
you.
It's not just about...
We're in the middle of a fight companion. It's annoying.
All right, but it's like... Yeah. And being anti-vax...
Oh my God, Joe Rogan is acting like a fucking child. Jesus Christ. I can't believe I used to put that guy on a pedestal. That's crazy, man. That's actually... It's disheartening. Good on Brian, dude. He should have pushed a little harder. Brian should have pushed so hard he got banned from the show. Because Brian has been a long time. He's like one of Joe Rogan's best friends. He's been on the show a lot. And the fact that one of your best homies publicly on a live setting is giving you this kind of level of pushback, it needs to be done. Like when Bill Burr did during COVID, I wish more people would do it today. More people need to come on Joe Rogan and stand their fucking ground. He shouldn't be able to just force the conversation that way. It doesn't matter if this is your platform. This is your guest. You invite them to talk about whatever the fuck they want to. If you disagree with what they're saying, present a good argument. Present facts. Give them some meat to chew on. Don't just say, we're not talking about this. That's bullshit. And Joe Rogan has lost his heyday, bro, and I'm here for it.
No one's anti-vax,
It's not anti-vax. Questioning why there's so many, though.
My kids are all vaccinated, and they're vaccinated, but they went on a delayed schedule. They delayed schedule.
Why? Like, delayed how much? Like, how fucking stupid? Like, what is it delayed? Like, how delayed how?
So did mine. So did mine.
You're not?
Yeah. You're not.
Yeah, good for you. I don't think you need to.
Why?
I just said I'm not anti-vax. And then Brandon was like, oh, mine aren't vax. Good for you. They don't need it. So you're anti-vax. You could just say you got the vaccines when they were younger, bro. When you used to be a liberal and you believed in such things. Like, the science. What a fucking...
Against who? Against what? Why take any?
No, they're healthy.
Yeah.
Between the two of them, they have 12 touchdowns this week.
Think you need to.
No, they're healthy.
Yeah.
Between the two of them, they have 12 touchdowns this week.
12 session? Is that like a thing? I don't know what he's saying. Am I retarded?
2 home runs.
Oh, 12 touchdowns.
I think
And have 12 touchdowns this week.
Oh, okay.
Also, like, how cooked are you that Brandon, the laughing stock of the comedy world, or he was kicked out of comedy because he was fucking awful, who gave up his MMA career, is the one that's siding with you in this conversation. Now, just because this guy's a moron with comedy doesn't mean he's a moron with everything else. They could both be right. Who knows? Maybe they're both 100% right, and vaccines are bad, and no one should get them. But, like, when the dumbest guy in the room is on your side, maybe you're on the wrong side. I'm just saying. You should use that as a red flag and go, what the fuck is happening here? Why is the dumbest guy in the room who would probably, like, be okay with flat Earth agreeing with me right now about vaccines? Hold on. Why are you agreeing with me? Why is there overlap in our agreement right here? Something is not correct, and I'm a little worried now. Like, I'll give you a real-time example, okay? There was a video that came out. What was it? It was on YouTube. Let's see if I can go to history here. Oh, whoop, wrong one. There was this one. Hassan Piker has lied to you. I thought this video was amazing until the very end. So this guy did a hit piece on Hassan Piker and brought out a lot of like Hassan's double standards and bullshit and terrible rhetoric and lack of like creative, you know, like, or common sense. And at the very end of the video, the man goes, Hassan Piker has led to like creating this like terrible environment for his audience because it's all fueled through outrage and echo chambers. And he's like, they no longer could think critically. And I'm like, fuck yes, I agree. And then he said, he's like, that's why I adopt critical thinking in my everyday life. And that's why I choose to believe in God. And I was like, fuck! How the fuck did we get that close? And you said all this smart shit leading up to Hassan Piker, and then you're gonna sit here and start preaching the word of God? If you practice critical thinking, there's no such thing as God being real. Your best response is, I don't know. Okay? I don't know if God's real, but the burden of proof is on those making the claim. That's critical thinking. That's like no one can claim God is real because there's no evidence to suggest otherwise. So the fact that he said all this really smart shit, and then at the very end, his last line was the dumbest thing he could have possibly said. Now this video is going to be the laughing stock of the internet. Hassan can now write off this entire hit piece because he said, I believe in God. And anyone that's on the left is going to be like, well, that's stupid. How are you going to talk about critical thinking and then say you believe in the fucking word of Jesus Christ? Fucking broke my goddamn heart. I never liked Joe Rogan. My partner was watching him for a while during COVID, and I felt very uneasy about him. Maybe because I became aware of him too late and missed the part where he was a smart and funny guy. He had really good moments in the past, just like Jordan Peterson used to, you know? I feel like the people that I got behind, hell, even Russell Brand had a few that were pretty awesome, you know what I mean? But then they just all went cuckoo and crazy, and then they all got millions of views, and they fell into echo chambers, and all of their money was tied behind the idea of this bullshit, you know what I mean? It's so frustrating.
2 home runs.
I think the problem is that the pharmaceutical drug companies have an exemption because of what they did in the 1980s with Reagan, where they allowed them to never worry about being sued. And that's when they ramped up the schedule. And that's also the correlation. When you look at all the host of all sorts of diseases and issues
Just
that
look
start
at
happening with
autism.
kids.
It's through
Autism
the fucking
is just
roof.
one. There's a lot of other...
God. Autism is through the roof for a bunch of reasons, okay? Autism is not just through the roof because vaccines give autism. That's fucking stupid. There's been no evidence to suggest that otherwise, and fucking far left or far right loonies have been saying this since I was a kid in high school. The anti-vax crowd used to be laughed at by people like Joe Rogan, and now he's sitting here fucking preaching the bullshit. It is so fucking frustrating, man.
autoimmune issues. There's a lot of...
Like, does he think people in general are dying of more diseases now or 100 years ago? Like, what are we looking at here?
A lot of like serious problems.
I think there.
The autism shit, we have to change the way that we approach this, bro. Like I said this before, autism spectrum disease, I just think this is stupid. I shouldn't say that, I guess, because I haven't read into why they diagnose it the way they do. But this idea that like people can be high functioning autists, I don't know why we pathologize that. I don't know. I haven't heard the arguments for it. I don't know why. It just seems meaningfully different to say that like low functioning autistic people can't function. Hence the low function. Like these people need adult caretakers their entire lives, and then some people are just a little socially awkward. Why is this all called autism? I feel like there has to be a different. I think in my life,
Well,
after having
to be fair, Destiny, there have been changes to the way that we regulate these things or classify these things. Now I think we use different terminologies all the time. When we talk about how it's on a spectrum all the time, you know, I mean, we used to misdiagnose autism a lot. And like things like ADHD and various other things. We just need to be more clear with our messaging on these things. And some of that is the fault of the medical industry. Some of that is the best information we had at the time. I don't think any of this was done with malice, because I don't attribute malice until I see evidence that malice was part of it, or like if you hear statements, or you know, I think they possibly revealed themselves rather than becoming crazy, but then. I'm autistic and the vaccines got to me. I fucking agree. It's crazy, dude. It's absolutely. Maybe they were just always crazy. You know what I mean? Maybe they were always. Maybe they just thought that by being on the left, they had to like buy into these things, and they never changed their opinion. Now they're just going mask off because the money and culture has shifted.
Finally met some actual autistic people. I think I've met one or two people in my life. I'm like, ooh, this is autism hard. Like people that can't, like, don't make eye contact, and the way they speak is like very, very, very off. Like, geez. But then even meeting these people like 2 years ago, I was like, oh, it got like forced me to recontextualize every single person I've ever met in my life who's like, oh, I'm autistic. I'm like, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why it exists as a diagnosis the way that it does.
3 things that have put.
Hey fam, sorry I'm late. Was cleaning the cat boxes. Tesla, I always say your name wrong when I mention it. Welcome! I'm glad you're here. The TTP has arrived. All right, hold on. I just realized my light was off on my microphone. It's supposed to be on when I'm recording, bro. Bro, party foul. Bullshit. You've met a ton of autistic people. Yes, I think our boy Destiny here is unequipped for this conversation. I hate to say it, I like my boy Destiny, but as with all things, I think that there's obviously, clearly there's a spectrum. Oh, Tesla, that's good. Nikolai. Why is that light turn like the green screen affected that way? That's crazy that red is coming up as green. Are red and green similar? Hold on. No, they're not. What the fuck? They're not even. That's crazy. I guess just. Oh, there we go. That one's better.
Pushed us beyond our biology, and the reason we don't have a lot of.
There's also this annoying thing of. This is the annoying thing too. Is be careful not to get pushed into the more radical opposite position to fight their radical position, right? The only thing is that it might actually be that there are some environmental things that are pushing people further along this autism spectrum thing. That might be the case, but it doesn't seem to be vaccines. We've researched the out of that, and the people that are pointing at vaccines don't seem to give a about autism. Seems like they just care about vaccines. If there are environmental things that are contributing to the increase in autism, if that is the case, if the autism is actually increasing and it's not just the way that we screen for it or diagnose it or expand it.
Yes, cool. He hit the. I said that in the very beginning, and our boy Destiny went the same way. I feel like me and this man are usually on the same page on a lot of things. Sometimes.
Right? If that is the case, then we're not looking into those things as much as we could be because we're obsessed with this vaccine talking point.
Autoimmune issues. There's a lot of like serious problems.
I think there are 3 things that have pushed us beyond our biology, and the reason we don't have a lot of children dying: nutrition, sanitation, and vaccines. And I think anybody who says otherwise is, I think it's crazy.
But you can't say all vaccines be.
I didn't say all vaccines.
But he's not saying all vaccines.
I get very worried when people
But he's not saying all
saying
vaccines.
It sounds like he is.
Brian, you know.
Yes. Ugh. Get him, Brian. Get him. Fuck yeah. Brian, I swear to God, I'm going to fucking cuddle you one of these days. Get him. Yes. It does sound like Joe Rogan is saying that.
Know what the I'm saying. You don't.
Oh my God, he's such a soy boy little bitch. Oh man, dude, what is it called? The woke right now? Fuck yes. I love, look, no, this is gonna sound bad and I apologize, but I've been saying for a while that I can't wait until, the right is back in power, because right now I'm tired of the nonstop attacking of the left. And right now the left had a lot of baggage and it was just nonstop. The left was constantly getting slammed. We forgot what it was like when the culture was right wing. I remember what it was like. I remember getting called every slur under the sun because of my sexuality. I remember saying I was an atheist and having people literally not let me come into certain stores. I remember all these things. You know what I mean? I remember the gay wedding cake and people refusing to bake cakes for people because of their sexual orientation. I remember the fucking craziness around the 2001 era of Bush and the fact that if you ever questioned the war in Iraq, they would just paint you as Islam or a terrorist sympathizer. If you criticized the war in Iraq, they would call you a terrorist sympathizer. And because of that overreach by the government, the Patriot Act, and all these other bullshit things that happened, you had amazing music that came out, like the Continuum album by John Mayer. The song Waiting on the World to Change was wonderful. But the world did change, and then the right started getting really good angles of attack on the left, and we lost our legs. So now, with everything that's happening in the world, and the right going so fucking crazy, and now adopting the same things they used to criticize, game on. I've waited for this day. I've wanted to go to war with the right for so long, the extremes of the right, because I've been fighting with the extremes of the left for so long. It's good to be back.
Sounds like he is.
Brian, you don't know what the I'm saying. You don't.
Well,
I'm sorry, sir. He can listen to the words you're saying. You dipshit. It's not up to you to tell other people what they're hearing by your fucking words, okay? If other people are hearing you say ridiculous shit, they have every right to call that ridiculous shit out. And if you get offended by that, you were too fucking soft to have that conversation, and you need to get the fuck off the internet. People should hold you accountable for the things you say. If I say anything rancid on this, always, please fillet me alive. Cut me up. I deserve it.
I know, because you don't want to talk about it.
Brian, I don't want to talk about it in the middle of a podcast because it'll completely derail the podcast. And I'll start showing you statistics. If you look at when people stop getting all of these diseases, and then when the introduction of vaccines happen, it's at the end. After the disease.
Oh, he saw the Twitter chart.
Diseases have already gone through the population. Most of those diseases were eradicated by sanitation and nutrition.
Yes,
there was a huge problem in this country. People were living in squalor.
I agree, but there's still pathogens that are very dangerous.
Sure there are. So the problem is that these pharmaceutical drug companies are fucking insanely, entirely.
I love when Joe Rogan talks shit about the pharmaceutical drug companies. And before I was a little more informed on this topic, I used to eat this up. I would say, yeah, man, these pharmaceutical companies are dog shit. How dare they do the things they do? How dare they make billions of dollars over what's happening right now in the world? You know what's crazy, though? It dawned on me very recently that Joe Rogan owns supplement companies. The man has a financial incentive to discredit actual medicine that's been tested by the FDA. So he can sell you his witchcraft bullshit like Alpha Brain. He gets paid sponsorships by these people. They send him free shit to give him positive reviews. It's so crazy that he's so huge into supplements and not medicine. That's strange. Isn't that weird? That he always uses his platform to attack the medicines that have potentially saved and helped people's lives. And then he also sells supplements? Almost like there's... if he can use his platform to discredit those things, he could increase his money into the billions. Why is it that pharmaceutical companies that create stuff that are ran through the medical industry and through the FDA and that have properly been tested are bad, but we're not going to talk about the supplement companies that sell snake oil and witchcraft bullshit that does nothing to help people. I mean, Ren is a perfect example of that. He followed a lot of fucking herbal remedies on the internet. Why is it that this man is using his platform to push a particular narrative that seems to also make him richer? Weird. The same criticism he has of that medical industry is the same criticism you could apply to him. It's almost like he has a vested interest in it. Holy shit! So if he has a vested interest in it, why should we take his word on it? He has financial, fiscal responsibilities to push that narrative. That's a little strange. Wild, eh?
Is that these pharmaceutical drug companies are fucking insanely, entirely corrupt.
Oh, and none of the supplement companies are? None of the companies that you're partnered with that give you a lot of fucking money are? Only the medical industry. I got you. Don't forget to buy Alpha Brain. All right, buddy. You fucking has-been.
Pharmaceutical drug companies are fucking insanely, entirely corrupt.
Really? Insanely, entirely corrupt. Well, how long do you think Joe Rogan's been on TRT? Is he public about it? Or does he cope?
They have been corrupt for a long time, and there's a revolving door between the FDA and these pharmaceutical drug corporations.
Is that because the FDA kept shooting down your Alpha Brain as being actually effective? Is it possible that the FDA is your enemy because they're refusing to give you the seal of approval that you're looking for? Biases.
In time, and there's a revolving door between the FDA and these pharmaceutical drug corporations.
Which FDA? RFK Jr.'s FDA or a different one?
They go from the FDA into these positions.
Wait, the FDA is under the HHS, right? Food and Drug Administration is, yes, correct, HHS, yeah.
They have this golden parachute, and then they ramp up the schedule every year, and it's not about public health. None of it is about looking out for you. All of it.
So we're going to attribute malice to the doctors because obviously they're giving us vaccines to kill people. Okay. All right, buddy. I think you need a little more Occam's razor in your life. Maybe they made vaccines to cure people. I don't know why conspiracy theorists are just so brain dead that their mind can't look at what the most likely scenario is. Strange that.
Schedule every year, and it's not about public health. None of it is about looking out for you. All of it is about making money. That's
Really?
the problem.
So then, do you give Alpha Brain out for free? If you think it's effective, why do you sell it at all? You're a millionaire. You don't need that money. You got 250, like, what is it, like $400 million plus whatever you make off your stuff? You're so rich, you could give Alpha Brain out for free, and it could cure people's whatever their issues are that you think that Alpha Brain could help them. Why do you sell it then, if it's all about helping people? I don't feel like he's applying his own thinking to himself, which means that maybe you shouldn't take him very seriously.
None of it is about looking out for you. All of it is about making money. That's the problem.
Like, yeah, private companies make money. Like, what do you think? Is this a charity podcast that you do? Do you do this for free, motherfucker? Revolving door. Half of RFK's vaccine expert panel has been on your dog shit podcast. What, you want to talk about revolving door? RFK's been on your podcast. Like, Jesus Christ. What about the revolving door between all these dog shit alternative media influencers and every other program? And now apparently cabinet positions of the government. How many people in our, how many cabinet positions? Donald Trump, current cabinet. I'm curious. I'm just curious. Who do we have here? How many people have been on Joe Rogan's podcast? Trump has, right?
Yeah.
Was Vance on Joe Rogan?
Tulsi Gabbard has.
JD Vance, Joe Rogan.
Almost all of Trump's staff have been on there. He also had Vivek, JD Vance, Trump, Tulsi Gabbard multiple times, RFK. I don't think he's had Marco Rubio on, but he's also had Dan Bongino on. He's also had Kash Patel on. Someone's cozying up to an administration pretty well. And also Joe Rogan was invited to the inauguration along with a bunch of other billionaires.
Yep.
Strange.
Was Marco Rubio on Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan.
I don't think he
Marco
was.
Rubio. No.
Nope.
Okay. Bessent wasn't. Bessent, Rogan, no way. No. Was Hegseth on Rogan?
No,
Nope.
maybe.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I don't think Bondi was. right? No way.
There's no way he'd be
Bondi,
around.
Rogan. Okay. These guys are nobodies. I know that RFK was.
Cash Patel, Sean
Bongino.
Bonino.
Oh, he wouldn't be a cabinet level person. Bongino was. Cash Patel was. Tulsi was, right? Tulsi was.
Multiple times.
What is that, 7, 8 different like high ranking members of the government.
Think about that too. How often did any other cabinet members of any other administration frequent podcast or news cycles other than like going on Fox News to give an official statement or something? Strange.
Kristi Noem wasn't, right? I don't think she was. She seems like she would. I feel like she'd be a perfect fit, but she wouldn't be. Do you think that? No. There's no. Rogan would never pay people to be guests on the show. That would be so outside of the norm. I don't think so.
To kill the shit out of people.
It's also crazy how comfortable Rogan feels citing statistics he's seen on Twitter when we've seen this guy at least twice get hoodwinked by AI videos where he's insisting they're real. And
Oh my god, dude! It just dawned on me. Joe Rogan is the Hassan Piker of the right. Oh.
and the fucking, the school kitty litter. That whole thing started with that whole nationwide crisis started with Joe Rogan, right? That where every parent was petrified that kitty litter boxes were being put in schools.
The kitty litter boxes is a weird one.
It is weird.
A weird one.
It's it's more like an urban legend.
I fed into that, and I should probably clarify that a little bit. It's not true. People were saying that's not true. It's an internet rumor. So I contacted him again, and I said, tell me exactly what she said, and contact her and find out. She no longer works at that school. She works for another school. She contacted the other school. She didn't get a response. I don't think they actually did it. I think there was discussions about doing it because there was
You had an issue in the retraction. Kudos for you for doing so.
one particularly wacky mother, but it doesn't seem that there's any proof that they put a litter box in there.
This one comment that he made had everybody around the country talking about how they were putting kitty litter boxes in schools for furries. Joe is semi-open about his TRT usage, but it's done via special clinics as his stem cell treatments. He's very close to some of these clinics and has had them on the pod. It's not bad for him when he likes it. Yeah, because there's a special clinic. Those are just doctors. That's just a private practice. That's all that is. And the drugs that they're using are the same drugs available to everybody else. It's not like they have top secret drugs that no one else has access to.
Well, there's people that voted for Biden that are doing it now. They're like, what did I do?
Right.
Like, what did I choose? Like, how is this guy?
Yeah, you just can't listen to an interview or he's saying some of the stuff he says that just makes no sense at all. It's like, you can't listen.
All that to say, Biden was one of the best presidents we've had in about the last 50 fucking years. All right? Think about this, okay? Biden took office at a time when the global pandemic was still in effect, okay? The pandemic was happening. There were a lot of things going wrong. And I have every incentive to hate Joe Biden. I lost my job over a vaccine mandate when I was working at Cox, okay? I hated Joe Biden at the time. My internet was called Let's Go Brandon, okay? That was the name of my internet router that I used at my last house, okay? I was, like, the first 2 years of Joe Biden's presidency, I was against him. I didn't like him, okay? 100%. I thought he was a weird dude. But then I watched his presidency, and things changed. His CHIPS Act was outstanding. The way that he almost recovered our economy was outstanding. Our inflation due to the massive spending we did under Trump was really bad. And somehow, despite all of that, despite a financial crisis, a housing crisis, an actual pandemic, and half the country wanting to kill the man, and literally spreading misinformation and lies, while his own son was being investigated by his own department head that he left in fucking office instead of kicking him the fuck out so that he would continue the investigation into his own kid. This man showed upright some of the best moral character we'd ever seen from a president. He was the polar opposite than Trump. Now, you could talk shit about Biden's mannerisms. I got you. He said some weird shit, okay? He did some weird shit. That's all I'm going to say. Yes, the Inflation Reduction Act. Dude, Biden did so much shit with and he passed bipartisan bills. He almost passed border reform until Trump called up someone and said, don't pass that. Trump like slammed the border bill, because had Biden passed that, we probably would have never had another Republican president for at least another 20 years, especially after the fucking insurrection on January 6th, okay? Full send it. I said it. I believe it. That motherfucker led an insurrection. I don't give a fuck about anyone's feelings on that topic. That is 100% true. Donald Trump did the fake electors plot, where he tried to null and void like 7 states of their actual elected votes. That's bullshit. He should be probably tried at the fucking Hague for that bullshit. But no president should be able to go against anyone's constitutional rights ever. And any constitutionalist should never allow such a thing to happen. That is bullshit. Okay? Wrong, evil, bad. Fuck that guy. Biden did so many good things, and just keeping the guy to investigate his own son, to look into the Burisma shit, was incredible. And you know what they did? They investigated Hunter Biden for 8 years, and you know what they found? Fucking nothing. They found a goddamn lie on a gun form, and they pressed charges over that. That's it. That's all they did. And they raked the Biden family over the coals. And while that was happening, Biden was still leading our country and working on so many things. Senator Langford almost passed the bill that would have drastically reduced the amount of illegal immigrants or asylum-seeking immigrants that could have came to the country, and hired more judges to process the claims quicker and faster. And you know what they did? They spearheaded it because Trump wanted something to run on. This is all out in the open, by the way. Like Ted Cruz just openly says it. Donald Trump called us and said, we don't want to vote on this, so we shot it down. Like, that's crazy, because the bill was written by a fucking Republican. Cool. Awesome. Senator Langford got fucking snubbed. And now, where's that bill now? Why is no one talking about that bill? Why haven't we done that? Oh, because this president just does everything by fucking decree. Instead of actually going to Congress and asking them to build a fucking bill, a comprehensive bill that can actually address some of the issues that we had at the border, and actually hire more judges to process cases and all this other stuff, you know, oh, we're not going to do that. And then they just lied nonstop about what's happening at the border. They'll say, oh, like 12 million immigrants crossed the border. No. They both look like saints compared to my country's president. Ooh. Where are you at then, Mr. Weber? And if you mind, if you don't mind sharing, it's okay. I understand. But I'm just saying, it's fucking crazy to me, man. It's so crazy that, like, Biden was a good president. Okay? Like, and it's just so, it's annoying how effective, like, the apparatus is for the left, or I mean the right. Like, and they're in lockstep, okay? This is something that boggles my mind. Like, for some reason, the left can't get their shit together. You're in South Africa? Oof, Mr. Weber. I heard that's pretty rough out there. Yeah, that one's a rough one. I know that isn't there a lot of racism right now towards those of a lighter complexion in South Africa? That's not good, and that needs to stop. Full send. But I have done no research into the topic, buddy. I don't want to say something inappropriate. I would have to look into that. But I mean, anytime there's any form of racism going on, it's not okay. And I know that it's pretty rough out there right now. I mean, hell, even Trump has talked about it. And I'm not a fan of Trump, but, when he does good things, he deserves to get, credit for the good things he does. I give people their flowers when they're deserved. It's called good faith.
Listen to those interviews and feel like you made a good decision. I don't know how you
Did
could.
you hear what he said, like, yesterday or a couple days ago?
Mm-mm.
He said,
Have you seen Love's Healing? I don't think I have.
he's talking about the Revolutionary War. He's like, one of the reasons why we lost the Revolutionary War, one of the problems with the Revolutionary War was they didn't have enough airports.
Airports? Oh my god.
Have you seen that?
I saw that. Like,
Wait, do you remember hearing that quote? I remember that quote.
What the hell? Like, pull him.
it's
Imagine
crazy.
Could you imagine giving a president a hard time over a misspeak while he's passing some of the best legislation we've ever seen, and single-handedly pulling our economy from potentially a disastrous fallout? Like, America at one point was the envy of the world because of, like, compared to all the other G6 countries, or G7, is it G7 now? Those countries, America had the fastest recovery. That's crazy. and yet somehow the right has been able to co-opt the entire conversation. Please watch it. Renegade Must Do song. Oh, is it a Ren song?
If you had any other job and you were talking like that.
Yeah.
Wait, have we watched this before? I feel like I've said a lot recently. If Trump would make any of the gaffes, or if Biden would have made any of the gaffes that Trump has made recently.
Oh, and Trump couldn't even tell his wife apart. And like his ex-wife, like in an actual deposition.
Recently, they'd be talking about it just like that. This is a really good example of that, yeah.
They would go, "Hey, you're done."
If you talk like that to a doctor at your medical exam
Who wrote that? Was that Wyned something? I don't remember his name. Was it that guy? Was he the guy who got a bunch of people together to do it?
fight, they'd be like, okay.
This one's pretty old, right? Yeah, well, because it sounds like they're talking about while Biden is president.
Obviously, they're not fighting. You would also, here's 8 weeks of being helped out by a professional, like
right. You might not ever do anything again.
No, it's one of the wildest things ever.
It's insane.
Yeah,
and the media gaslighting you to pretend. It's just people are so afraid of Trump being in office and Republicans being in office.
A few moments later,
hanging out with the guy, I'm like, man.
Well, it's just the media narrative. I mean, so many people were fed this lie that the Russia collusion.
Yeah.
Was this the video you're talking about? Let me see what this one says. I don't think it is.
What? By the way, same stable genius has said the biggest problem we had in the Revolutionary War is we didn't have enough airports.
And that's a gaffe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Whoa.
Right. What?
Just for the record.
Yes. All right. So that guy, I don't know how to say his name. Wynad, Foray or whatever. My girlfriend was subscribed to him. I mean, still is. And because she really liked his content, I wanted to actually react to that. Not necessarily that song, but she was telling me about it. Oh, I haven't heard it. Oh, maybe I shouldn't put my feet on that. Arg. Okay. We should check it out. I'm definitely down.
Is that
Wait, did he? Oh, he didn't even understand what Biden was saying there.
fake?
It's not fake. But he was referencing Trump saying that. Here's what Trump saying it in 2019.
Oh.
So Trump said it first. Okay, so it wasn't a gaffe. He was making fun of Trump.
Trump said something about that. He didn't say Jesus. He said a stable genius, and that's where the transcription.
Let me hear what it says. What did he say?
In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston and New York, and named after the great George Washington, Commander-in-Chief. The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he did. But I feel like that's
There's also a tribute to Joey Dale Records. Also excellent. Okay. Did you see how this whole time they were bashing Biden because they said Biden did a goof and that he needs to be fired and that he's not equipped for the job? And then when it finds out that it's actually like he was just mocking Trump. Oh, he made a mistake. Trump doesn't deserve to be fired. Trump's cool. He's allowed that. The double standard here is insane.
Tell to it sounds like a little different. He's like, you could tell he like messed up his words, but
he messed up his words. He messed up his words. How come that same charity isn't given the joke? You fucking hack fucks.
Do you see it happening in real time? How are you supposed to watch this as a sane person and not feel crazy? Right? Like, do you guys not see what you just did there?
That's crazy. That's insane, dude. Oh, okay. All right, so I technically missed a song yesterday that I should have done,